रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है? ओके, रोलिंग बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है, अपन करेंगे. तो द वेदर इज वेरी नाइस एंड वी आर इन बैंगलोर एंड इट्स रेनिंग एंड यू कैन हियर. चुप हो जा भाई थोड़ी देर. ओके, ऐसा लोग बोलते हैं कि द वेदर ऑफ बैंगलोर इज बैंगलोरिंग. आप देख सकते हैं पानी भी है, आप नीचे मत दिखाना प्लीज. तो ऊपर चिड़िया की भी आवाज़ आ रही है, गिलहरी भी है. तो आज का जो शूट है ये वेदर उसके लिए एकदम परफेक्ट है बिकॉज आज जो मैंने अपनी फ्लाइट रीशेड्यूल किया जस्ट टू टॉक टू दिस पर्सन टुडे. ही इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड ही इज़ अमिताभ नाग. ही इज़ द CEO ऑफ भाषिनी एंड द डायरेक्टर ऑफ इंडिया AI. तो आपने देखा होगा कि लॉट ऑफ कॉन्वर्सेशन राइट नाउ इज गोइंग अराउंड कि शुड वी बिल्ड इंडियाज फाउंडेशनल मॉडल और लेट ओपन AI एंड अदर्स पीपल डू द जॉब. सो आज मैं इनके साथ बैठूंगा एंड विल डिस्कस व्हाट्स द पॉइंट ऑफ भाषिनी. वी कैन डू अ डेमो ऑफ द भाषिनी ऐप इटसेल्फ. वी ऑल्सो शुड डू इन कन्नड़ा वंस. सो इसमें कितनी लैंग्वेजेस हैं टोटल भाषिनी में?
Total 36 languages, 36 languages on text.
सो आपको कितनी लैंग्वेजेस आती हैं?
मुझे तो 3 ही आती हैं, हिंदी, इंग्लिश और बांग्ला.
And how is the usage like right now?
We get 10 million translation requests a day.
Okay.
Our Bhashini app has already crossed 1 million downloads.
Okay. But एक बात सच बताना, do you use भाषिनी more or do you use ChatGPT more on your phone?
Both are there for different purposes.
Okay.
ChatGPT is for your general purpose AI, which is giving you information or which is giving you additional things which Bhashini does not give, which is basically summarization, analysis, creation of something. But Bhashini is about translation.
What was your favorite personal use case of Bhashini?
See, personal use case will remain as speech to speech. Although the speech to speech has to go long way.
Yeah.
It has to basically become a system which is like on a push button system. I push a button and I become multilingual.
So what about Bhashini नाम क्यों?
Bhashini is Bhasha interface for India. Bhasha is the core word and interface matlab ki it is interfacing and it is for India.
I was thinking, can someone just prompt on Lovable and create something like Bhashini in a week if they have enough data?
Should be possible. We are
Yeah.
looking at, means you are talking ahead of time. Perhaps, but
Yeah.
yes, we didn't think that
Yeah.
coding can be done by
Yeah.
giving natural language instruction. But the fact that, which I want to re-emphasize, is that the journey is of co-creation. The journey is of continuous improvement. And it's a journey. So we don't claim to say that we have developed an app or we have developed a product or we have developed an AI model. We are in the journey.
So, sir, कैसा लग रहा है Bangalore? How is Bangalore weather?
Good weather today.
Yeah,
It seems that.
but apart from weather, कोई problem है Bangalore में? You can sit this side. Any problem?
No, actually, Bangalore is a great city to have, innovations and other things. So, tech innovation is all happening in Bangalore.
Okay. Where are you from? Like,
I'm originally a Bengali.
okay.
So I speak and understand Bengali.
Okay. So we can do a demo of the Bhashini app itself. So मेरे को तो बंगाली आती नहीं. I only understand Hindi. तो let's start with that itself. So hi, हम लोग आज What's the Point का शूट कर रहे हैं and मेरे साथ अमिताभ सर बैठे हैं भाषिनी से.
হাই আমরা আজ গুজরাট টপ পয়েন্টের শুটিং করছি এবং অমিতাভ স্যার বক্তৃতা থেকে আমার সাথে বসে আছেন.
सही, एकदम परफेक्ट है.
Perfect. Means,
एक बार because we are in Bangalore, we also should do in Kannada once. So इसमें कितनी languages हैं total भाषिनी में?
total 36 languages, 36 languages on text.
ಇಂದು
Okay, on text.
ಫೈಲ್ ಚಿತ್ರೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅಮಿತಾಭ್ ಸರ್ ಭಾಷಣದಿಂದ ನನ್ನೊಂದಿಗೆ ಕುಳಿತಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
सही है, सही बोला क्या? Okay, okay. So आपको कितनी languages आती हैं?
मुझे तो 3 ही आती हैं, हिंदी, इंग्लिश और बांग्ला. At our generation, we were told कि अगर इंग्लिश नहीं पढ़ोगे तो बनोगे खराब. So
Yeah.
that's how we learnt English. Mother tongue is of course Bengali and
Okay.
Hindi because we are traversing through the Hindi heartland for education and studies.
Yeah.
So that's how language domain has been. But and then every language has its own culture, history,
Yeah.
identity associated with it.
Yeah. So you're from Indore though, right?
Yeah, I studied, means my father was in defense, so
Okay.
I was in a place called Mau,
Ha.
which is basically where I have studied my class first to class 12th.
Okay. So I'm also from Jabalpur. So when I look at Bhashini and all these initiatives that government is doing and you're doing as well. So the first thing that comes is कि it should reach the population of states like Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand. So what are the steps that we are taking कि वहाँ पे पहुँचे?
There are two or three things which we have done as a preparatory action. See,
Yeah.
language is approximately 10,000 plus years old. You
Yeah.
know, I'm hazarding it may be 15,000, and it has developed over a period of time, right? AI is 3 years old, means general AI.
Yeah,
There was AI which was there earlier also, but a general purpose AI is for 3 years, and it has actually got democratized in last 1 year, 1.5 years or
Yeah.
so. So, what in last 3 years since the mission was announced, what we have been able to do is we have been able to create the models, create
Yeah.
the platform, render it as a service, and we have definitely reached a certain level of accuracy and performance, because of which we are doing about 10 million translation requests a day. So from that perspective, we are quite okay in terms of what we are trying to do. But then when we are wanting to go, our next step is to go to tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities where, this is most required. Towards that, we are doing two things.
Okay.
One is that we have approached state governments to get into a memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
And the memorandum of understanding says that it is a co-creation effort. There has been certain things which has been done by the Bhashini as a mission. Now there are AI models which are available, which the states can own,
Yeah.
improve and proliferate. It is residing on Bhashini's platform. That is a separate, that's a interoperability thing. But over a period of time, states have to own this model. And since we have open sourced it, source code is available, this can be trained. So towards that, we are getting a lot of responses from states, which our state discussion is on 4 major pillars. पहली चीज कि आप उसे use करिए and then you will get some response and you give feedback. So that is the first pillar which I say.
And how is the usage like right now?
Usage, I said that we get 10 million translation requests a day.
Okay.
Our Bhashini app has already crossed 1 million downloads.
Okay.
So, there is a reasonable amount of usage which is around at this point in time. And the usage is increasing by 20% a month. And which gives us enough reason to believe that we are doing a good job as of now.
Okay.
But that good job has to continue for future. And for continuing it for future, we are doing these memorandum of understandings with, state governments, with industries, with startups, with line ministries in central government. Each one has specific purpose or specific role in the co-creation.
Yeah.
The state governments have a role in co-creation by using the model for the language in which the state works and give the feedback so that the model improves. And, we do the thing. They have another thing to see that can they benchmark this model along with us. And then they, you organize a hackathon or a innovation challenge to improve the accuracy. So that's the second pillar which we are talking about.
Just yesterday you had an hackathon in Bangalore.
Yeah. The third pillar is about use cases.
Yeah.
The models will still need adaptation to health, retail, etc., other domains as such. So that is another area where they can be working upon. And then the last pillar, which happens to be the proliferation of the models. That means go to the various places where it is not done, figure out what is required there as far as language is concerned, and proliferate these. Let people know that you have a choice today to be engaged in your mother tongue and still be part of the inclusive society.
Yeah.
Also, the people who are on the other side of literacy divide to know that voice is a medium today, and you can actually do everything by voice. So even though you can continue your journey towards going to the other side of literacy divide, but meanwhile, be digitally inclusive, be part of inclusive society. Okay. So that's about state.
Yeah.
About the central government is like each of the line ministries have agriculture has its own domain. Everybody has its own domain. Everybody has its own domain words. So those all things, and that digital dictionary still needs to be created.
Yeah.
So what will determine the future? If I sit here 2 years down the line and then say that am I doing today well, is going to be this effort.
Yes, makes sense. So the idea of building AI for Bharat, like reaching the global population. But एक बात सच बताना, do you use Bhashini more or do you use ChatGPT more on your phone?
Both are there for different purposes.
Okay.
ChatGPT is for your general purpose AI, which is giving you information or which is giving you additional things which Bhashini does not give, which is basically summarization, analysis, creation of some things. But Bhashini is about translation.
Okay.
So ChatGPT, while it works on certain areas, Bhashini works on certain other areas. So if I have to communicate with a taxi driver here when I am in Bangalore and I don't know Kannada, as you know, the Bhashini app is a suitable solution, both from usage as well as from cost perspective.
But if OpenAI, if it decides we want to focus more on Indic language, that they are already doing now, even if you use ChatGPT, वो भी बहुत अच्छे से it can translate in Kannada. So what is the point of Bhashini then?
See, you have to realize the fact that we are a national mission.
Yeah.
And as a national mission, हमारा काम ये नहीं है कि हम कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी आगे बढ़ रही है और कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी पीछे रह रही है.
Okay.
Right. Our mission is to see that India has a language technology solution which is 100% accurate, which is at a low cost, and which is available.
Okay.
Right. Towards that, हमको जिस तरह का solution चाहिए था, that kind of solution we are building.
Okay.
Right. If others are coming and want to basically run faster than us, we are more than happy, because that will create competition in the market. Like if, for example, NPCI, we created a kind of bridge, we created a kind of model, then we created VMAP.
Yeah.
And then we said that, look, market moved towards it.
Yeah.
The market moved ahead of VMAP.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that was not the contention that we start, competing with them.
Yeah.
The idea of a national mission is to show a direction, to tell people that, look, this is the way the technology should be used for general purpose public benefit. And, if there are other players who want to do that, who can do it better, it is all the more essential that they should do it.
So what will you say to people that keep asking when will India have its ChatGPT moment? Or
I don't think that's not far away.
Okay.
I think we should basically go to the history of it and then try to answer it.
Yeah.
When we started building Bhashini models, we had a major challenge with respect to the digital data which was available. If the digital data is not available, then AI models can't be built.
Yeah.
And digital data was in 6-7 languages. So we, first time in the world, started off with a initiative which was basically to create digital data. So we moved into the field, had a mobile app, the picture on the mobile app, asked people to contribute.
Yeah.
And they created a parallel corpus by people who were knowing the two languages.
I think that was the most interesting thing about Bhashini, the Bhasha Dan wala concept. Yeah.
So it created that, and then it moved forward from there. Today we have a lot of such initiatives where we are collecting data from field and trying to create digital data. But it was all started by us and then taken off. It is very good that people have now come and realized that they can work on these 222 languages, and they have a mechanism of working. Even if the data is not available, they can create the data. We have no problem in them investing on it and building on it.
But then,
the thing would be that at certain point in time, and we of course have our own vision about all the products, all the digital systems which we have.
Yeah.
So similar vision is there with, India AI mission for large language models, and that vision will continue. So the market, we hope that we will be able to give some direction to the market, some leadership. Our idea, of course, remains that the AI should be safe and trusted.
Yeah.
So, and safe and trusted is from both the angles. So it should not hallucinate. It should give the right results. It should be a supporting system for the human beings rather than ruling it. All those are parameters which we have. Yeah. So the relevance of Bhashini would be to that extent always there, that it is going to set up directions. We started discussing voice first system,
Yeah.
right? We did many things first. We were first one to contain digital data.
Yeah.
We perhaps were the first one to open source the data as well as the model, which brought in a lot of credibility. We perhaps were the first one to talk of 100% accuracy and a roadmap to that. We were the first one to talk about voice first system when the industry was shy to talk about what voice first system. So a lot of things. These are directions.
But just as I understand, Bhashini works with organizations like AI for Bharat. Sarvam is also like one of the part of the ecosystem. Then Ekstep is there. So as much as I can see that the idea of all of these organizations is very different when it comes to AI. Someone wants to build something foundational. I think Bhashini is, like you said, the NPCI kind of a thing, like me laying out an infrastructure. So how does that align all together, like working together?
Again, I think there is the ecosystem are complementing each other if you look at it in detail.
Yeah.
You know, while we are setting up directions, we are trying to then tell the market that yes, this is possible, do it, and then people are spending effort on it. There are other people who are trying to do, looking at, somebody is looking at governance, somebody is looking at build a foundation model, somebody is looking at something else. So these are all complementing.
Okay.
And over a period of time, the jigsaw puzzle will fit together to give a landscape for India as AI. The jigsaw puzzle, the general, when you are feeling this way about, India's language dimension, one of the basic thing is, you have to see is that the digital data is not available and everybody is scrambling for that. And that could be a reason for you to think, okay, this model is better than that model is more foundational than this model. I think those are more or less, temporary phase which any technology goes through.
So I think this is mostly in India. The government is taking a lot of steps when it comes to building AI. But if you go to the West, US, there's Anthropic, OpenAI, and they are private companies. ऐसा क्यों है कि India में the government is supporting so much and it's pushing it? When it comes to the private side,
again, the same logic which I keep giving, that if I want to actually create something in Bodo, it is a low resource language, number one. It has got low resources as far as investments are concerned.
Yeah.
So those are the places where we are putting in investments. So, we are putting in investment in Manipuri, we are putting in investment in Bodo, we are putting investment in Khasi, we are putting investment in Mizo, Assamese. Those were the languages, Odia language, Marathi language. Those are the languages where people were, we are going, we didn't have enough digital data, so we didn't have enough digital systems there. Like in Bihar, for example, we currently are going through a innovation challenge come hackathon, which is fundamentally digitizing the Kathi script. And Kathi is basically a language which was being used to digitize used for the land records in Bihar.
Oh, okay.
And currently, a lot of land records in Bihar and Jharkhand are still in Kathi.
So what is your favorite use case of Bhashini? Like there was, you guys were using it for Lok Sabha as well, and there were a lot of use cases. What was your favorite personal use case of Bhashini?
See, personal use case will remain a speech-to-speech. Okay. Although that is something which has to go a long way, both from a perspective, like you just demonstrated, a speech-to-speech system.
We were comparing it yesterday with OpenAI. Bhashini is actually better when it comes to the latency.
Yeah. So now the speech-to-speach has to go a long way. It has to basically become a system which is like on a push-button system. I push a button and, I become multilingual, is what a system should be. And of course, translation is one aspect of it. The audio engineering and creating a pipeline, having automatic language detection, speaker ID, speaker diarization, language diarization, all of these elements are a part of that system which we are imagining, which can be a push-button system, which can immediately say that, I am a multilingual person.
Yeah. ऑटोमेटिकली डिटेक्ट कर लेगा. So ऐसा कुछ जैसे माइक है अपना, can we make something like that in the future?
Could be. I mean, that gives, you're giving me some idea. Let's see what can happen.
So apart from that, जैसे जो AI-Kosh, the platform that was recently created, मैं उसको जितना भी I use है, जितना भी I understand, is it like the hugging face of India? Can we say it?
See,
I know, मतलब ये
it is. Some of these are very fundamentals.
Yeah.
Okay, you can, because hugging face came first, so you
Yeah.
can say that it is, hugging face of India. But it is very fundamental. It is basically the currency for AI.
Okay.
कोश
हाँ.
मतलब कोशाग्र में
Yeah.
currency रखा होता है.
Yeah.
So it is a currency for AI. That means it is holding data set for AI. Over a period of time, the data sets will grow large. Then it will hold models of people will contribute models into it. And then the models will lead to certain use cases. And those use cases will also be a part of this. So it's a kind of system which is basically building a koshagra for
Koshagra,
AI
yeah.
for the next generation of things. So data is a currency for AI, and it is basically being held at AI-Kosh. Is what my answer would be. Yes, there are multiple systems around the world, and Hugging Face is one of the most respectable system in that sense. So, not taking away any credit, but whether it is basically going to be a Hugging Face of India, I doubt it. I would say that it will take a shape which will be good for India. So, internet did not became another advertising center for India.
Even I don't like giving these analogies. Ki open
No,
app,
I'm
India,
just trying to say
hugging face of
that
India.
internet did not become another advertising center for this thing. It became a medium by which we are delivering public services, by we are making people's life easy, by we are doing financial inclusion. So it's going to be that.
So AI-Kosh, तो you explained. So what about Bhashini नाम क्यों रखा?
Bhashini is भाषा इंटरफेस फॉर इंडिया. मतलब
Okay.
ये एक तरह से
Operating system.
It's a kind of भाषा is the core word, and interface मतलब कि it is interfacing, and it is for India. And Bhashini, when it is acronymed and taken to the world, will it remain for India or not is a separate issue altogether.
इसका plan है. Do we have plans to take it बाहर?
See, we do get requests for at least conversation between Indian and foreign organizations. So we do interface with popular systems like Google and Azure on a commercial basis there.
Okay.
So, and we demonstrated that in G20 in there also. But the idea, of course, is to ensure that we tackle the Indian situation first.
Yeah. So if it goes abroad, then it will, as you said, it will become just like any other product. कि यहाँ से start किया and then it going global. So is that thing holding Bhashini back when it comes to going global? Like focusing on Indian side is more important, I guess. Not holding back, I think. That is
So
the mission.
I would say that is the learning complete. I say we still have a lot to learn. As I said, the day we achieve a button push and we become multilingual, we would perhaps be doing things. So the idea would be that if supposing I want to create a video, a content writer might be, or content creator might be very good in Odia, and he creates a video in Odia, and with a push of a button, we are able to get it in 22 or 36 or 40 languages. That's the utopia we are looking at. We are looking at people to devote more time on content, while as the basic technologies of language and language translation are done by the people who are expert in it.
Okay.
Today, the challenge which is there is that the moment we receive a letter in a language we do not know, we run around to, get it translated, or at least get the gist of it. Whether it's an invitation or whether it's a suggestion or whether it is advisory, we don't know. So that thing has to go up.
And so what is then your personal goal when it comes to, apart from Bhashini, including Bhashini, if you're also going global, at the same time we also want to solve AI for Bharat. So what is your personal goal?
See, personal goal is to do things well and best, because the rest of the things will automatically follow.
Okay.
So if you do things well, if you are able to achieve excellence, then rest of the things are to follow. It will. You don't have to goal for it. It will
Okay.
come automatically.
So अगर आप भाषणी नहीं कर रहे होते तो क्या कर रहे होते?
Well, that is a difficult question to answer. कि क्या कर रहे होते? Because I had a corporate life as well. I was heading businesses, so I would have been doing that.
Okay. So ऐसा what was that moment that you decided कि no, अब वो तो नहीं करना है. Now I have to do something for India and Bharat.
I would rather say that there is an opportunity which presented itself and it was interesting. So I moved into that and then have grown into it. So, it was never a situation whether I have to do this or not do this. But yes, there is always a thing when you are given the background and also the fact that we used to pay 15 rupees for a quarter to go to school.
Yeah.
We have the onus to actually, or obligation to actually give it back to the society in which we live in. So
yeah, makes sense. So okay, so you said that you were given the opportunity or honor. If not you, I mean, to lead Bhashini and start this mission.
Yeah, it was practically a selection process. So it was not that the opportunity was given. It is a selection process, well advertised.
If I can ask, who would you select after you to lead Bhashini?
That's a hypothetical question as of now. And see, it is the systems and the processes in government or in private or any institution are not people dependent, right? And India has enough talent to actually fill in any shoes which can go and come. So I think we should. The question will automatically get answered at an appropriate time as it go by. But means from a personal goal perspective, whatever job is given, I would tend to execute it well, is what my sense would be. So it's not that it is dependent, because see, I joined this in 2023. The project was conceptualized much before that. There were people who were working on it. And in fact, this problem has presented itself ages back, and it has been looking at the solution. So it's not that it is surrounding a person. Yes, there are people who become catalysts to take this forward. So I am one of the catalysts.
So would you agree or accept that that India is actually behind when it comes to AI?
When we make that statement, we are basically looking at few dimensions. Okay. India is, by that logic, we can basically say many things about technology and India being there. But if we're in other part of the world, you have simple things like website in 22 languages or 36 languages. It's not there.
It's not there. Yeah.
Right? Where exactly you have a chatbot which answers people's query when they come for a religious place, and they get the answers on the fly on voice in their own language. Not there.
Yeah, Mahakumbh mein
we did that, right? Where else is 2.7 lakh panchayats working on their own language and getting reports in their own language about the spending in that panchayat? Not there.
So fundamentally, the problems are different and the solution and the mission is different there.
Mission is absolutely different. We are not here to say that can you create a video good? Can you create a, can you have imitate the word, imitate somebody's voice and try to create another video. We are not in that game. That game is a corollary. I'm not saying that we should not play that game. Or I'm not saying that we are not working on that also. We are working on that also, but our problems, challenges, and activities are different, right? So our focus is different, is what I would say. It's not that we are behind here. Our focus is different, and hence we are trying to solve the problems which we feel are necessary for us.
Okay. So आपको नहीं लगता ऐसा कभी कभी कि जैसे the Indian startups and West, some startups from India are also going to the West. So you decided to be in this government side, and इसमें I could have just made a startup, earned more money, raised funding, build a product. Like,
Could be. Means
हाँ,
on the hindsight, you can always say anything. But the fact of the matter is the vastness of the problem, the amount of learning, and the deployment, the benefits of deployment are not anywhere else. That much I can say.
okay,
Okay. Now, whether it is monetized or not monetized is a separate issue. Monetization part, if you leave,
yeah,
right? If why AIMS doctor is best doctor in the world, because he has seen the
Yeah.
world of health in much better form than anyone else.
okay. So, okay, what is the current end goal that you have a vision of? Like आज कि भाषणी का लास्ट ये अगर हो जाएगा तो अभी के लिए भाषणी का the goal is achieved.
I don't think that will be possible at all.
Okay.
Means technology presents you the options and challenges which are much beyond current situation.
Okay.
So you have to actually look at, you have to draw shorter, achievable goals
Yeah.
and keep hopping in this world. Now, it's not that I would basically be, means you cannot predict today. You cannot say that I will, in next 10 years' time, India will have 200,000 more schools. Perhaps may not be required because the technology would be very different.
Yeah.
Right? Or 200,000 more primary health centers. Perhaps not required because you have digital health coming up. And the primary health care might be their digital health center. So it will be all on mobile as such. Now, whether it will go that way or not that way is a question of technology. So you don't want to predict this way or don't want to predict that way.
Yeah.
But you want to basically say that, for example, health, can I give all the information about health parameters to every citizen on a mobile? That's the first goal you look at.
Yeah.
Then you look at, can I do diagnosis? Can I do investigation? Can I do rest of the period? So,
Do you currently trust LLMs or chatbots with your health? आपने कभी ऐसे कुछ टाइप करके पूछा and it gave any response?
see, I keep giving examples, which is, saying that we are at a generation, we are perhaps at we have toddlers around.
Yeah.
So when the toddler starts walking and walks 1 kilometer, you're very good and very happy. It walks 2 kilometers, you're further happy. And, that's how you see the child grow.
Okay.
So currently we are seeing the child grow.
Okay. So what is the immediate next step, if you can reveal, Bhashini is focusing on? Like voice is one of the things. Anything like
we are focusing. We are focusing on collaboration with states and looking at the model becoming 100% accurate.
Okay.
And we are looking at, as I said, a flawless speech-to-speech thing. We are looking at how all the government services can be in 22 languages. So very basic, fundamental, immediate goals.
So then what is your idea of agentic AI? Everyone is talking about this right now.
वो भी आएगा वो भी धीरे-धीरे वो भी integrate होगा. But see, spreading too much is also this thing. Agentic AI will also get multilingual.
Yeah.
Agentic AI will also get have voice incorporated in it, already done actually. So all of that will happen.
Yeah. Do you think this language thing, like Bhashini right now has 35 plus languages. Do you think when it comes to innovation, this becomes an opportunity or it becomes a barrier?
See, it depends upon innovation. How do you look at innovation? If you're looking at innovation for public good, this is obviously an enabler. If you're looking at, I want to go technically very sound, do something, have a point solution, and then, live it on it, you might find it a barrier, saying that why should I be even worried about others, because West understands English, so let me continue to do in English. So,
okay.
One of the things which happens is that very often you might not be speaking correct language, but when it gets translated by Bhashini, you want to comment on its accuracy.
Oh.
So,
okay. Yeah.
I'm giving examples of the situation which happening.
Okay.
So, in a normal course of our speaking, right now also, we may not be speaking grammatically correct language. We may be, wrong at certain places. But the idea is not that, am I being understood? You will perhaps nod your head. And when you say that, am I being understood? I will also nod my head. So we should be looking at, these things in a very different fashion than trying to look at it. Of course, perfection is one situation which everybody wants to be in.
Yeah.
But if you want to be perfect, it's not necessary that you be perfect from day one. You can achieve perfection over a period of time.
So also, when you were talking about education and going to schools, is there any way you think we should change or update the curriculum of Indian schools so that we can be prepared for AIs, like future of AI as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yes, the answer would be yes, but we have to look at specific. See, when computers came in and we had computer scientists, they were, computer scientists, they were unaware of the domain,
Huh.
right? And we in industry took a lot of time to educate computer scientists on domain, so that actually the computer can be put on use.
Okay.
And then the concept of BPR came in, then the concept of a lot of other things came in. I guess the same thing is going to happen in AI. We have to be very perfect on domain.
Okay. Yeah.
And AI can act as a tool. But if we lose domain, then AI will not be able to act as a tool for benefiting you. It might give you a toy solution.
Yeah. Okay, so coming to a different segment a little bit, why did you choose to be in Delhi and not come to like the tech hub, Bangalore, Silicon Valley of India?
It's a lot of parameters. You have settled down. No specific reason, actually.
Yeah.
Not that, if you want me to say that I did like Delhi or I like Bangalore. No, that's not the situation. That's not what drives your stay. It drives, where do you have job opportunities, where is the family settled, how comfortable you are with respect to the surroundings and your friends, your ecosystem, what it's called.
Okay. So, Abhi, recently there was this conversation that started up that the startups in India are not innovating enough, like the fancy ice cream problem, as people say. So, what is your take on that? Because they are not even getting funding. So, people are saying innovation nahi ho raha hai. Like, दोनों तरफ से चल रहा है. So, what is your take on that?
See, I have, obviously, we need to look at people who are creating startup have to look at that, am I doing something fundamentally new?
Yeah.
Am I solving problems? Or I am trying to say that I'll create a video and I don't care who uses it. Means you can create a video, but then you talk to advertising industry and find a use case for yourself. So if you heard everyone talk about it, that we have to do use case centric innovation.
Okay.
And that can be anywhere. That can be in AI, that can be in climate, that can be in biotech. It is a use case centric AI which is solving customers' problems. So when we are doing innovation challenges and hackathon, we have the use case being presented or discussed by the team, which is actually going to use it in future.
Okay. So then we should focus on making India the AI use case capital.
Yes, obviously use case will drive innovation in the foundation models and everywhere, but it has to be use case centric. It cannot be just I'm doing hundreds of. That's why often the conversation of my model is better than your model fails, because it's not use case centric. And my model is better than your model because you didn't have the data. Tomorrow you will get access to data. Your model will be better than my model. And how long can you continue this rat race? Accepting that and that is what we are trying to do. We are trying to create data for public good, which can be used by researchers, which can be used by everyone.
Okay. So, Sarvam AI was selected under the India AI mission to build a foundational model. So then they released a model recently, and there was a lot of controversy that there are not enough downloads. And I think it is also on AI-Kosh as well. वहाँ पे भी there are very less downloads. So even as we say, कि if innovation is happening, but people are not using these models to build use cases. So how can we fast track that?
I would say that okay, downloads are not the reflections of
Yeah.
what is there, because there is a limited capacity of people who can, utilize it.
Okay.
Means not everybody would download a LLM and start using it to build a use case. What would be very important is that who has downloaded it, and what is the intent of it. So there are different parameters. If you say that app, how many downloads have happened with Bhashini app, then I can make sense out of it, because it's a general public usage.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Now, if you say that how many LLMs have been downloaded, I think if 10 serious people have downloaded, I will be happy with it.
Yeah, makes sense. Even if one person builds a very unique
Very
use case.
robust application, I will be happy with it.
Okay. So then we touched upon this before as well. So if these companies are making models that are on top of something that the West has built, so if OpenAI that is actively coming into India, if they build something like that is similar to Bhashini, if they are able to do this translation easily, so what will be the moat of all these Indian AI startups?
See, means again, when we are trying to talk about all of this, we are around centricity of market-driven forces.
Okay.
Obviously, that's where we are saying that if you're doing a use case-based problem-solving business startup, you will survive this OpenAI. You will survive anything.
Okay. So it's not a clash of interest when it comes to Western companies coming here.
No, it's a question of how well they can compete, and how well the. It's not going to be a situation where if you are solving a problem, perhaps OpenAI would like to join hands with you and solve the problem there.
Okay. So currently the Bhashini app on Play Store is in beta. So when is the final version going to come out, and why is it in beta in the first place? Because it's working well.
Because we are continuously, building adding new languages.
Yeah.
So, as you said, it is working well. So it is working well in, say, 35 languages, 36 languages added, perhaps yesterday. So, it has to remain in some way beta. We are consciously telling people, so we have added a feedback module on the app itself so that you can give a feedback. We have another service called Anuvad service, which is on web service, which is free of cost again, which allows you to do a translation of 1,000 characters. For, of course, certain registers users, we are increasing the limit.
Yeah.
But then those are the places where we are trying to get feedback from the people, and hence and improve it. So beta suggests that we are always in the road of improvement. It doesn't suggest a traditional beta which you talk about.
Okay.
That it is. It's a acknowledgement that we are in the road of improvement.
So aaj subah when I told one of my friend that I'm going to speak to you. So he was asking me ki, why is there so much focus in India specifically on sovereign AI? Because even if you go to the West, everyone is building AI models, but they are not saying, we have to protect our data and we have to build something within the country. Why is there so much focus in India for sovereign AI?
See, AI is artificial intelligence, right? And artificial intelligence learns out of what it sees, what the computer program sees.
Yeah.
It's also, if you draw a similarity, it's like a child getting developed, seeing what is the surrounding around him. It takes the values, it takes the culture, and then he grows.
Yeah.
Right. The AI also should grow in similar fashion. It has to take the values, cultures, history, everything which is ours. Right.
Yeah.
You would obviously like your child to take the values from yourself and then take it forward to the forward generations.
Yeah.
So as long as the models are doing that, I don't think there is a question of sovereign versus non-sovereign.
Okay.
It's a question of the fundamentals of our society getting into the model so that they start behaving like what an Indian child will do. It will respect his parents. It will say "aap" to the person. It will, when it goes to Telangana, it will say Mr. XYZ Garu. When it goes to Tamil Nadu, it will say Thiru.
Yeah.
Yes. These are the things which we want in our sovereign AI.
Okay. So, Isme, we are also talking a lot about how can we regulate it. So, how do you think regulation plays a part when it comes to building AI? Do you think it hinders it or it gives it direction?
As far as Bhashini is concerned, we are trying to give it a direction.
Okay.
We are not regulating it.
Okay. And also, if, like you mentioned, like teaching your kids and everything. So, how would you define a 5-year-old or a 2-year-old who's getting interested in this AI space? Ki, what are you doing and what direction would you give him if he wants to get interested in AI?
I would sense that, wherever it increases his productivity, he should use it. And wherever it is not, then it should not be used. The other thing which we should be very well aware of it is that, when you use machines, you tend to lose some basic things. Like I used to remember perhaps 200 phone numbers before mobile came in.
Yeah.
Now, when the mobile came in, I don't even remember any numbers, so as to say. And even I tend to forget my numbers sometimes. So it is a issue which we have to understand that, like, we were at certain point of time in our engineering, we were told not to use the calculators. At certain point of time, we were told to use calculators. So the idea of parental and teachers today is to say when to introduce AI and when not to introduce AI.
Do you think it makes people dumb using a lot of AI?
It depends on how to use it. Yes, for some people it will happen that way.
Yeah.
And for some people it will happen the other way around. But, using any technology does not make a person dumb. He gets educated in a different way.
Yeah, they can solve bigger problems. Yeah. So if, I want to know your perspective on this. So then if a startup an AI startup in India is planning to just start and raise funding, would you suggest them to focus on building global products or building a use case in India?
I would suggest in either case, if they have to go global, also they have to build a use case. They have to be around a use case. Now, the use case can be a use case like, supposing a person is developing a low-code environment. It's a pure tech product, right? Now, but it is based on a use case that you are perhaps having a large tech do the coding in a very short duration of time. So it is a use case. It's around a use case.
Okay, makes sense. So also, this is a little controversial. If we want, we can cut it later. But the working environment and everything that people talk about, right? Ki 70-hour work week, 90-hour work week. How many hours do you work in a week?
It is dependent upon what mission or task I have.
Okay.
So, and to our people also, we have a similar thing that a mission might demand that you work 48 hours continuously to achieve that. A mission may demand that, okay, there is a lean period and you want to go to a holiday or a rafting, you go for that. We are moving towards a world where we are trying to do a job-based work rather than a fixed duration work. And that is that solves many of the controversies which we are having, because it's not necessary that if a person is for 8 hours in the office, he is contributing for all the 8 hours and rest of the hours he is not contributing, or she as it case may be. So it's a job work based, it's a task based, it's a mission based, it's an outcome based thing. So if you are achieving an outcome, brilliant enough to achieve an outcome in 4 hours by working 4 hours a week, I think rest of the time we should party.
Because मैं तो अभी यार 2 घंटे ये किया उसके बाद घर चला जाऊंगा. I'm not going to the office.
Obviously, so you perhaps there is you would have achieved the content for next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
You would have worked for it. You would have built questions. You would have done all of the groundwork for it for the last 1 week or 2 week or 3 week or whatever. So it's ultimately the moment you achieve an outcome and you have done something, you are always you're always welcome to relax, rather than trying to say you come 8 to 5 and then you do something and then you say, now, there is a corollary to it where the people would say that if people spend 70 hours a day,
Yeah.
70 hours a week or 80 hours a week or 40 hours a week, whatever, they would perhaps do more coding or do
Yeah.
more digging or do more, construction, whatever
Yeah.
can be the thing. But is the efficiency going to be the same is the question. So if it's better to give them a task and say that you complete. The moment you complete, you can go home. But you complete it 100% right, and it shouldn't be having challenges after that.
So did you also learn coding?
Yeah, we obviously when we do engineering, we learn coding.
So do you still do coding or?
Somewhat, not much. So
Okay.
I would have, if you tell me to say that, do you do coding now? I would say no, because I don't want to get exposed now. But the point which is there is that you always miss coding, because that was one of the ways in which at a very low entry barrier, you were able to create something. You were able to create a program. You were able to create a lot of things around it.
So have you seen all these tools that are coming up, like Cursor? GitHub Copilot was there, but now it's improved. Lovable is there. So I was thinking, can someone just prompt on Lovable and create something like Bhashini in a week if they have enough data and everything?
Should be possible. We are looking at, means you are talking ahead of time, perhaps. But yes, means we didn't think that the coding can be done by giving natural language instruction.
Yeah. मैं बस बोल रहा हूँ. I mean, that's not possible.
I'm saying that it's something which will be there over a period of time.
So, what advice would you give to all these people that are studying engineering, computer science right now? Because they are very scared कि coding कर ले रहा है भैया, they can create apps. So, what advice would you give?
Means what you see in a general public and a hype is a very different thing. And what you see in core engineering is a very different thing. Now, if you see that there has to be an AI developed and there has to be a coding platform which will get developed, the coding platform itself has coding.
Okay, yeah.
Right? There are
Someone has
programs
to build
written.
that. Huh?
So somebody has to build that.
Yeah.
The question is that how well you have studied coding to build that coding platform.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the core engineering would remain. So the advice is that study well.
Yeah. Because I have no idea. I have not done engineering. I've never written a single line of code. But now I'm being also told that maybe I can become a software engineer.
Yeah.
Do you think that is possible? I can become a software engineer?
No, you can become just as if you were, supposing you were given a pen and a pencil and you can draw something, you can always draw a picture, right? So software is becoming something like that you have given a platform, you're doing that. Now, that is not an engineering work, that is a creativity.
Okay.
Right? You're creating a program for something which you have imagination. Right?
Okay.
While as you don't need to learn the language which is behind it.
Then what is your idea about AI-generated art? Music?
It's a creativity.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the creativity, but somebody has to write that program to generate the AI. Somebody has to collect that data to train the model. Somebody has to do that. Now, that is what the engineers should be looking at doing it.
Okay.
While as creative people like you should be giving instructions for the program to create something.
So what is your favorite Hindi movie? Bollywood.
I think Sholay is a favorite movie.
So exactly, Sholay. So if someone uses AI right now and creates another version of Sholay, do you also want to create multiple versions of Sholay? Like, it becomes very hard to figure out what will happen in the future. Maybe people will create their own movies that are similar to Sholay. Maybe that will create a bubble.
See, means the inherent creativity on the dialogues and the acting and the delivery cannot be taken away, right?
Okay.
It will remain as it is. What technology can do is to improve the rendition.
Okay.
The way it was rendered, the way the colors were there, those can be rendered. The second thing is that, when you're looking at machine taking over, the motion is slightly faster or much faster than what it is. So the pace of the movie can change. That's all about it. Means you perhaps, if you are making Sholay 10 years down the line, You perhaps won't have steam
Amitabh
engines.
Bachchan as well.
Steam engines.
Yeah.
You won't have all these bits and pieces
Yeah.
which were there, which would have to get replaced by a very different set of things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the people will not correlate to it.
Okay. So the last question I want to ask you is, I know you have another event coming up. So all this is happening in AI and you're building it and AI agents and everything. What keeps you awake at night?
If you actually look at it, what keeps me awake at night is that, is this, are we becoming obsolete in some sense? The obsolescence cycle is very high. And
Obsolete as in humans or
as technology.
as technology?
As technology. And you require a lot of convincing to yourself that you are on a right track to be, continuing on that. Means, so that is something which is there. Of course, there's the thing. Many of these things are national programs, cannot be overturned in a day's time. That is an advantage because then it's not a whimsical decision.
Okay, makes sense. So thank you so much, Amitabh sir, for coming and joining us at What's the Point podcast. I hope you had a great session. And anything that we missed out that you want to add about Bhashini? Anything, any mission that you're planning? Anything?
I don't think Bhashini is whatever Bhashini is doing is more or less well available in open media, and as well as you touched upon it and worked upon it. But the fact that which I want to re-emphasize is that the journey is of co-creation, the journey is of continuous improvement, and it's a journey. So we don't claim to say that we have developed an app, or we have developed a product, or we have developed an AI model. We are in the journey.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.